How's it going, people? Welcome to another video. Yes, massive breaking news tonight. It seems like Arsenal seems to be dropping some news or some form of news dropping on Sundays. It's becoming Arsenal Sundays. Yes, Arsenal have agreed a deal in principle to sign Sporting Lisbon striker Victor Gyokeres. Yes, you heard that right. Arsenal have an agreement in principle to sign Victor Gyokeres from Sporting Lisbon. It was a bomb that was dropped tonight by David Ornstein himself, and it's been basically been spreading around on the web. All over social media is basically Arsenal have agreed a deal to sign Victor Gyokeres, and is right here in black and white. David Ornstein, the first person to post this tonight, basically saying an agreement in principle reached for your Victor Gyokeres move from Sporting Lisbon to Arsenal, deal worth 63.5 million euros guaranteed plus 10 million euros in add-ons, and the Swedish striker representative waives their fee to help facilitate the 27-year-old's move from Sporting to Arsenal Football Club. This is a massive news, guys. It's basically about time that Arsenal get this deal over the line, especially after some underwhelming couple of signings in the last couple of weeks in terms of Noni Madueke. Obviously, that hasn't been announced yet. And also, Christian Norgard has been really underwhelming. Obviously, we've got covers in that area now, but this is the one a lot of us Arsenal fans, including myself, we've been waiting for pretty much since the transfer window opened. And it seems like we are now getting closer and closer to getting our man. And also, it was then reported on Sky Sports News as well, who then also obviously shared the sentiment and said Victor Gyokeres transfer news, Arsenal closing on agreeing a deal with Sporting Lisbon. £55 million, guys. And that's basically kind of like what we're paying for, almost what we're paying for non-demand Waker. But this is not about him. This is about Victor Gyokeres. Arsenal agreed to pay around £55 million to sign Sporting striker Victor Gyokeres. Negotiation continues over add-ons. Sweden International 27 has already given Arsenal primary focus, and that's the most key here. The key was Victor Gyokeres has basically said from day one, I'm not coming back to training and I'm going to Arsenal. Focusing the transfer window after previously being linked with Leipzig, Benjamin Sesko. As we all know, basically, throughout this transfer window, it's been a yo-yo game. It's been a case of, is it going to be Victor Gyokeres? Is it going to be Sesko? I have said it from get-go. Go and check all my videos. Go and check my TikTok. I've been saying it from the get-go. If it was up to me, I want Victor Gyokeres. If we end up signing Sesko, I'll support him either way. But my number one preference would have been Alexander Isak, but we all know that was never going to happen in this day and age, in this transfer window, with the price tag that Newcastle are putting on him. So the next best thing would have been Gyokeres. Honestly, probably the next best thing would have been Osimhen. However, it seems like the only two strikers Arsenal were going for at the particular time was Sesko or Victor Gyokeres. And it seems to be like we are now making some groundwork when it comes to signing a striker. Also, it was then supported again by another guy that I follow called Purple Panel Arsenal. Obviously, Victor Gyokeres basically repeated almost the same thing. Sam Mockbell of the BBC basically also said the same thing, confirming Arsenal reached full agreement with Sporting Lisbon over 73.5 million euros signing of Victor Gyokeres in the last 24 hours. Deal now in place with minor details being resolved, parties working on tours, Gyokeres being part of Arsenal's tour of Asia at the end of the week. Remember, Arsenal, they have a friendly, I believe is against Watford on July the 19th. I can't remember where exactly that they're playing. I think it's at the training ground. They've got a friendly, and shortly after that, they will be flying away to the Asian tour. And it's been reported by Sammy Mokba, as you guys can see there on the screen, that Arsenal want to wrap this up before they fly out to the tour of Asia. So it is a likelihood that Arsenal in this coming week will wrap up Victor Gyokeres and also Noni Madueke at the same time. And it's also then been reported that, do you remember Christian Mosquera? Again, that one is probably going to be done deal at the end of this week as well. And then we're going to be focusing on another deal, which is a Baricha Eza. But listen, we'll get onto that. Right now, the main big news that was dropped earlier tonight was that Victor Gyökeres is signing for Arsenal. Let me just remind you what was being said in 24 hours ago. Fabrizio Romano was basically saying that the sporting president was on Gyökeres not showing up for preseason. As you guys have known, Gyökeres have said from the get-go, I'm not turning up for preseason. We had a gentleman agreement. You guys have basically gone against it. You've basically lied to me. I'm not coming back to you. I stayed for one more season. I said I was going to help you guys win the league. I stayed. We won the league, and you now need to basically honor your agreement and honor what we agreed. And they were basically saying no. They're basically they just stuck their foot to the ground, held their own, and said, "You're not going anywhere until we get the money that we want from you." This is basically what was said. If we don't want to pay Victor Gyökeres market, if they don't want, as in Arsenal, if they don't want to pay Victor's fair market value, we're very comfortable with the fact that for the next 3 years, as you know, he's got 3 years left on his contract at Sporting. This strategy is also making it more complicated for the player to leave. Nobody is above the interest of the club, whoever they are. We're calm, everything will be resolved with the market closing, a hefty fine and an apology to the group. So, as you guys know, if a player refuses to turn up for training, they can be fined and subsequently their contract can be terminated by the football club. But let's be honest, why would Sporting want to terminate the contract when they know they can potentially earn up to 73 million euros? And then within 24 hours, this then basically turned up, which is a deal between Arsenal and Victor Gyökeres. For Victor Gyökeres is now being sealed tonight with all parties involved after an agreement, after agents decision to reduce its 10% compensation. Arsenal were paying an initial fee of 63.5 million euros plus 10 million in add-ons being completed. There is a likelihood that this can and will be completed within the next 48 hours, guys. And that is exactly, I think, what Arsenal are trying to do. Arsenal are currently in Spain, obviously doing their warm weather training at the moment. They're due to fly back midweek to London. And as I said, they've got that preseason friendly with Watford on July the 19th. And then they'll be flying over for their Asian tour. This is basically what we've all been waiting for. I've been saying it. We need to get this track over the line. And apparently there's been news and rumors over the last couple of weeks that Arteta wanted this deal to be done and dusted before the preseason. And I've said it in my previous videos. We need a striker because he's coming from Portugal, he's coming from another team. He needs time to embed himself, not only with the club, but also with his new teammates and the way Arsenal play. And is it a case of, is it going to be the main focus striker? Is it going to be maybe playing over on the left and inverting into the middle? Is it going to be, we don't know. There's a lot of speculations in the air, but the fact of the matter is Arsenal have needed a number 9 since Aubameyang basically left the club, and Lacazette. And we've basically failed. If you think about it, the last 3 seasons when we've come second, and we had someone like a Victor Gyökeres banging in goals the way he has been in Portugal. Yes, it's not the same league. However, when you have a focal point up front and someone that can score goals, banging goals, left, right, and center, just give him the sniff and the chance, and there's a likelihood 80 to 90% of the time is going to be going in the back of it. This has actually made my weekend. I'm not going to lie. I've been wanting this for a long time, and it's a matter of time that we are finally getting it over the line. I think it was getting to that point where a lot of us in the fan would just say, just get one of them done. If you're going to get Gyökeres, if you're going to get Sesko, just get it done. And it's looking like the finish line is a lot closer than we anticipated because, yes, we've all been sitting there thinking, so which one is it going to be? Which one is it going to be? Which one is it going to be? And now we know it is going to be Victor Gyökeres. As you guys can see, got a smile on my face. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is what we've all wanted. This is basically what we've all needed. And now I'm excited, as you guys can see. I'm excited. It's getting me off my seat. The next phase is get Victor Gyökeres over the line, get Christian Mosquera over the line, and get Eberiche Eze over the line. And boy, anything after that is a bonus. If we get Rodrigo, fantastic. If we get another forward left winger, fantastic. And I think, if anything, what this window has shown us is we don't know what's going on in the background at Arsenal, because we never knew that Arsenal were in for Noni Madueke, for example. We didn't even know Arsenal were looking at Eberiche Eze, for example. Obviously, with this Rodrigo one, I'm taking it with a pinch of salt, because I think those rumors have materialized more from Arsenal fan bases as opposed to reputable journalists in the game. And somebody like a David Ornstein, as you guys probably follow him and see, he never gives us every day, oh, Arsenal are still in talks with Gyökeres, or sort of retweeting the same thing like Fabrizio does. Don't get me wrong, they're both high in the game at the moment. Same with Sammy Mokba. But the point I'm trying to make is, when there's a news to drop, that's when David Ornstein drops that bomb. He drops the bomb and everybody's like, oh my God. And don't get me wrong, Fabrizio does the same thing he did with Noni Madueke. He was one of the first people to drop that. But the point I'm trying to make is, with Rodrigo, there's a point, there's a chance that we potentially won't sign him. And let's just, I think, take time when it comes to that. And I think with your careers, a lot of people have been saying, especially I listened to a podcast recently with David Ornstein, and he's basically said, just chill. That was his message to Arsenal fans. Just chill. It's coming. And I got the chills. Victor Gyökeres to Arsenal. I bet you earn money. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me. I can see Victor Gyökeres taking that number 14 shirt. I can see it. He's not going to score the same amount of goals as the legend himself, but that 14 shirt is vacant, and it's mainly for a striker, because he can't get the number 9 because Jesus has that number 9. But I can see him inheriting that number 14 shirt. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I was about to say Rodrigo. Gyökeres to Arsenal is almost done. I'll say I'll give it till latest Wednesday for this deal to be done and dusted, and he will be an Arsenal player. He's currently on his holidays. He's waiting basically to go to Arsenal. It's like he's there at the gate in the airport to board the plane and just fly to London for his medical. And I can see that happening within the next couple of days. Victor Gyökeres to Arsenal. Here we go. Haha. Love those 3 words. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as per usual, listen, if you like the videos, drop that like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, help a brother out. And also, don't forget to watch my live and go back and follow me on TikTok and Instagram, where I post videos quite regularly. And until next time, Gooners, have a good one. Victor Gyökeres is coming to Arsenal. Come on. Yeah.